The markets are falling, but the manufacturers of soaps and various kind of sanitizing substances, I think, are doing quite well. Why is that? Of course, because of the onset of the coronavirus, which could become a pandemic. What can we do for now? Well, the best advice is to keep washing our hands, make sure that we don't touch too many surfaces, and hope that everything is going to come out okay. But as is very often the case when some event like this happens, the pseudoscience mongers get into the picture and start with their stories and conspiracy theories, etc. So let's stick to the facts. What do we know? We do know that the virus somehow emerged from Wuhan in China. It probably came from some sort of animal, possibly bat droppings contaminating wild animals sold in a store. At least that's the theory, and there's some evidence for that. Although not everyone thinks that was ground zero, but it certainly could have been. There are stories going around about how Wuhan actually housed some kind of biological facility where they were testing out viruses for warfare. There's zero evidence for that. Then there's the story of eating bats. And there's even a video going around of someone eating a bat, suggesting that this is what started it all. That video is actually old, and it wasn't taken in China. It was taken on some Pacific island where they actually do sometimes eat bats, but this has nothing to do with the current outbreak. And then, of course, there are all of the potential treatments. And all of these are quackery. Nobody right now has any kind of treatment for this virus. Of course, they're working feverishly to try to find a vaccine, but that's going to be a long time, at least a year until anything crops up. But there are people out there who are telling us that what you have to do is take sesame oil, mix it with ground up garlic and ascorbic acid or vitamin C, and that this is the cure for the coronavirus. Incidentally, the reason it's called coronavirus is because when you look under a microscope, it kind of looks like it has a crown. A virus is just basically some protein and some genetic material. We don't really talk about killing a virus because the virus isn't alive. It has to infect a cell, and it uses the cell's machinery to replicate itself. However, it can be washed away from the hands, and it is susceptible to some disinfectants. Certainly, bleach, a dilute solution of bleach, can inactivate the virus. Hydrogen peroxide can inactivate the virus, and you may have seen trucks going around in China spraying. I suspect that they are spraying a dilute solution of bleach or hydrogen peroxide. But then there is the quack item known as miracle mineral solution. And this is all over the internet now, supposing that this is the treatment for the coronavirus. What is it? It's a bleach called chlorine dioxide. And you actually make it by mixing together two chemicals. Sodium chloride and citric acid can be mixed together to make this. Now, miracle mineral solution has been around for a while, with claims of curing every disease that you have ever heard of. And now, of course, they are jumping on this particular bandwagon and saying that this is the cure. There's absolutely no evidence for it. There's no reason to think that swallowing this will do any good whatsoever. This is nonsense. Now, what about the masks? People are wearing surgical masks like doctors have. They don't do much good because air can get in, air can get out. There is some value in masks, though, especially this kind. This is called the N95 mask, because it keeps out about particles which are very, very small, and they're generally referred to by microns, and 95 refers to that. It is not the most comfortable thing when you put it on, but it's okay, and it provides a very good seal so that nothing comes out and nothing goes in. I don't even know if my sound is coming out now, but you can wear this, and it certainly, if you are infected, it will certainly keep you from coughing out any kind of sputum, and it also protects you from inhaling anything from the air, because indeed it turns out that tiny little particles in the air, particles of moisture, can harbor the organism. So anyway, that's what we know for now. The N95 mask is the one that works. The surgical masks are less effective, but at this point, all we can hope is that the virus will kind of peter out as the spring rolls around, as we saw with SARS and with MERS. But it's also possible that it will develop into a full-scale pandemic. Obviously, let's hope that it doesn't happen. And for now, let's just keep washing our hands as often as we can and stay away from large crowds.